Yeah, yeah, it looks good?
Yeah.
Looks real?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure? All right.
All right.
Whew. What's cracking, guys? Omar Esoff here, back with another video. In this video today, I want to talk about why gymnasts are so damn jacked. And this is actually a good video because it's applicable to a lot of people out there when it comes to your training style. Understand that when it comes to trying to build muscle, there's a lot of different ways to approach it. We can learn a lot from different athletes, different disciplines, like I said, different methodologies. So I want to talk about gymnasts, why they're so jacked. Someone actually asked me this question. As you guys know, I've been doing more pull-ups, more dips, when it comes to my goals, what I want to achieve. And then the question then becomes, well, if gymnasts just really want to excel at their sport, why are they so damn jacked? And what can we take away from them as just people that want to build size? So the first thing, I know a lot of people will immediately jump to the, steroid accusation, or say obviously they compete at a very high level, the highest level, that they're going to use performance enhancing drugs. And there's no denying that. When you see some of the photos or videos of some of these gymnasts, they look insanely jacked. And yes, they likely have top tier genetics, and they are likely using something in order just to, have that competitive advantage when you're at the world class level. So, got to get that out of the way. Even still, if you take a look at the junior gymnasts, if you look at people that are not even close to contention when it comes to the Olympics, just people that are training to be the best gymnast that they can possibly be, they're still way, and I mean way more jacked than the average person. They have a physique comparable to, let's say, a lot of young aspiring bodybuilders. So if we can just assume, obviously, that not everyone that's a gymnast or a top tier gymnast uses, and a lot of these people that are on the middle ground, they still look really good. They'll never be world class, and therefore they have no reason to use steroids, but they still look great. What the hell is it about their training that makes them look almost as good, I don't want to say as natural bodybuilders, but as the average gym bro, if not better? And so I want to break this down. Like I said before, there's a lot of different ways in order to achieve building muscle. I like to go over the strength approach, so kind of that strength, size, when we talk about trying to build muscle, performance, athletic, aesthetic I talk about, but equally valid, and you see this often, once again, when it comes to calisthenic individuals, where they do a lot of high volume, high repetition, where they work out longer. That is, once again, a valid way in order to build muscle. There are a lot of different ways to try and achieve muscle mass. You don't have to necessarily pursue strength. We only have to take a look at all the people doing calisthenics, as I said, gymnasts, to see that there's other ways of trying to achieve size. And when we talk about this, there are essentially three different types when we talk about trying to lift a weight or move a weight that you can actually do it. We have the concentric, so that means on the bench press, lifting the weight off of your chest. The eccentric, controlling the portion on the way down, so on the deadlift, on the way down, or the bench as you lower it. Same idea with the squat, that's the eccentric. And then there's isometric strength. And that's when you hold the weight, so you're actually applying against resistance. So maybe you're doing like a pin squat, where you're doing against some sort of top barrier, and you're just applying maximal force against it. So there's three different ways. In general, the one that's been found to be most important when it comes to muscular growth would be concentric eccentric. So that means a movement that has both the concentric and eccentric portion. But you can also build muscle by doing isometric actions, isometric contractions, focusing on the eccentric portion, or just doing a whole lot of concentric work. So there's a lot of different ways to achieve this. And if we take a look at, once again, gymnasts, their type of training, and really breaking it down, we notice a few different things. They use their body a whole lot. Their body is essentially their weight, is their resistance that they use when they train. But what they're doing different types of training than the average gym goer. They're doing a lot more isometric work. When I was joking about that iron cross, but the iron cross is basically a pure test of isometric strength. And that is a valid way, a different path in order to achieve size. So they have isometric strength that they focus on. They also do a lot of repetitions, a lot of volume. If you lower the intensity, so we talk about, once again, squats, like when you do a 5x5, that's like 60 to 85% of your 1 rep max. Cool. But if you're using your body as your resistance and you're doing, pull-ups, dips, other gymnastic exercises, you're actually working well below that percentage. So something that a lot of people don't realize is that the average gymnast, that they want to take it seriously, they train at least 2 hours a day practicing the movements. This means per week they're training around 14 to maybe 30 hours in total, lifting weights, doing things like the iron cross, the rings, all those different movements. And if we take a look at some of those movements, we take a look at ring work. I do think ring work, one, it's a little bit safer on your joints because the rings move with you. But two, it's just a different type of training that's different enough in order to produce that hypertrophic effect, right, compared to what we normally do. So they do a whole lot of volume, they do a whole lot of practice. They're in the gym or they're in their gymnasium, let's say, longer than the average gym bro. So there's no kind of, let's say, absurd reason. It's kind of obvious when you think about it why they'd be so jacked. If you did a shit ton of pull-ups or pull-up variations, ring variations, dip variations, just other gymnastic movements a lot, like you trained 20 hours a week, you ate enough, and you made sure you really apply yourself, you would build a whole lot of muscle. So to me, it's no surprise when you compare maybe the average middle tier to towards elite status gymnasts and why they look better than the average gym bro. That's because they put in more time, more effort in the gym. They might train with different rep ranges, different intensity, different training styles, but once again, because there's a lot of different ways to achieve size, they are absolutely doing so, and that's just a byproduct of their training. Their whole goal isn't to look aesthetic as hell. They kind of just do by default. And then the last thing I want to talk about when I talk about that portion is just obviously genetics, where if you're going to compete at a high level, you have to naturally be predisposed to being a little bit leaner, building muscle a little bit faster, just because you want to have that competitive advantage. So they do have, perhaps on average, any serious athlete, a little bit better genetics. But for the average bro out there now, it's like, okay, cool, I got it. A lot of high volume work, different training styles, different movements that they're training. They're maybe focusing a little bit more on the isometric and the eccentric, a slow, controlled lowering and so forth that maybe the average bodybuilder doesn't do. How can I then bring this into my training if I maybe want to have some of the benefits? Because as I said before, the best thing or best rep range or best style training you should be doing is the one you're currently not doing. So I should actually state that again. The best training style that you need to be doing or you should incorporate is kind of the one you're neglecting. And what I mean, if you always train super low rep, right, high intensity, change it up a little bit, add in a few sets at the end of the workout, a few movements, like maybe a high volume push-ups or high rep push-ups, same idea with dips, pull-ups, just to challenge your body in a different way. So one, I'd say don't just stick in one rep range. As Dr. Brad Schoenfeld has shown, it seems like there is some potential benefit training across the rep range spectrum. So not just sticking to one zone. And this does mean exceeding 10, 12, 15 repetitions. I'm talking 20 plus repetitions. You absolutely can do that. But also, if you are really interested in trying to build size and you're already maximizing your time in the gym, you train 5 or 6 times a week, you go hard 60 to 85%, if you have access to like a pull-up bar, a dip bar, or even maybe just a weighted vest to do push-ups at home, doing that additional work is actually completely complementary to your regular training at the gym. And I actually currently do this where I do a lot of push-up work just for my shoulder. My shoulder now feels great. But I do feel, once again, when it comes to the hypertrophic effect, when you do low intensity, a higher volume, just let's say Pavel Tetsulin style, greasing the groove, it can be very beneficial. So for everyone out there that really cares about trying to build size, you're there, it's Saturday, you're off from the gym, cranking out an additional 100, 150 push-ups over the span of 10 or 15 minutes can only benefit you. We could take a lot away from different disciplines. So if we talk about gymnasts, their work ethic, the amount that they train for, how they kind of focus on different styles. So once again, the isometric holds, focusing maybe a little bit more on the eccentric, the high amount of work that they do, and those variations are all valid. So just keep that in mind. There's always an explanation behind everything. I hope I answered this question. This explains why every single time I always get the question, like Rio just happened, 2016, I get a whole lot of questions from people asking me, why they're so jacked. Therein lies the answer. There's always something to learn. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you like the video, I'm staring right into your soul, right into that deep darkness. Like the damn video, and I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace.